Mahapriyava Charanam. Definitely not in an engineering college. Who is Joshua? Others would read. There was a famous student-friendly activity in our college known as fish pond. Rather than an actual fish pond, it was a fish ball that carried a collection of anonymous notes or the fish. Anybody from the college could write a comment or an opinion that would be read out late on our college annual day. All the students would eagerly wait to hear what funny and witty remarks had been selected that year. The designated host would stand on the stage in the college quadrangle and read the quotes out loud. Every year, most of the notes were about me. I was often the target of the Kannada limericks, one of which I can still remember vividly. This can be translated as a dear come on, don't lie, I want to go to Sudha. I neither have an elephant nor a horse, but I will go to walking to her. All the boys would then sneak a glance at me to see my reaction, but I would simply hold back my tears and try my hardest to smile. I knew that my classmates were acting out for a reason. It was not that they wanted to bully or harass me with a deliberate intention, as is the norm these days. It was just they were unprepared both mentally and physically to deal with the person of the opposite sex studying with them. Our conservative society discouraged the mingling of boys and girls even as friends, and so I was as interesting as an alien to them. My mind justified the reason for the boys' behavior and helped me cope. And yet the remarks, the pranks, and the sarcasm continued to hurt. My only outlet in college was my actual education. I enjoyed the engineering subjects and did very well in my exams. I found that I performed better than the boys, even in hardcore engineering subjects such as smithy, filling, carpentry, and welding. The boys wore blue overalls, and I wore a blue apron over my sari. I knew that I looked quite funny, but it was a small price to pay for the education I was getting. When the exam results were announced, everyone else knew my marks before I did. Almost every semester, my classmates and seniors would make a singular effort to find out my marks and display them on the notice board for everyone to see. I had absolutely no privacy. Over the course of my studies, I realized that the belief engineering is a man's domain is a complete myth. Not only was I just as capable as them, I also scored higher than all my classmates. This gave me additional confidence, and I continued to not miss a single day or a single class. I persisted in studying hard, determined to top the subsequent examinations. In time, I became unfazed that my marks were displayed on the notice board. On the contrary, I was proud that I was beating all the boys at their own game as I kept bagging the first rank in the university. My ability to be self-sufficient made me strong, and the boys eventually started to respect me, became dependent on me for service and drawings, and asked me for the answers to the assignments. I began to make friends, and even today my good friends include Ramesh Jangal from the civil department, my lab partner Sunil Kulkarni and Fakir Gouda, M. Kulkarni, Hai Gouda, Anand Uthari, Gajanan Thakur, Prakash Padaki, Harshvit Darshan, and Ramesh Lodhaya. I will never forget my teachers. L.G. Narohana from the Electrical Engineering Department, Yoga Narasimha, a gifted teacher from Bangalore, Professor Malapur from the Chemistry Department, Professor Kulkarni from my hydraulics, and many more. Between my classes, I also spent much time in the library, and the librarian became very fond of me and over time, eventually giving me extra books. I also spoke frequently to the gardener about the trees that should be planted in front of the college, and during my 4 years there, I had him plant coconut trees. Whenever I go to BVB now, I look at the coconut trees and fondly remember my golden days on the campus. The 4 years passed quickly, and the day came when I finally had to leave. I felt sad. I came come a scared teenager and was living as a confident and bright young engineer. College had taught me the resilience to face any situation, the flexibility to adjust as needed, the importance of building good and healthy relationships with others, sharing notes with the classmates and collaborating with others instead of staying by myself. This, when I speak of friends, I don't usually think of women, but rather of men because I really grew up with them. When I later entered the corporate world, it was again dominated by men. It was only natural for my colleagues or friends to be men, and only sometimes would there be women whom I would get to know over many years. College is not just a building made up of walls, benches, and desks. It is much more intangible than that. The right education should make you a confident person, and that is what BVB did for me. I later completed my master's program from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, yet BVB continues to have special place in my heart. When my father passed away due to old age, I decided to do something in his memory. He had allowed me to go ahead and become an engineer, despite all odds and grievances he had heard from our family and society. Thus, I built a lecture hall in his memory in our college campus. Whenever I go up there to deliver speech, at least 5 people of different ages come and tell me that they are from BVB too. I connect with them immediately and can't help but smile and ask, which year did you graduate? Who were your teachers? How many girls studied in your class? Now, whenever I go back to the college, it's like a celebration, like a daughter coming home. Towards the end of the visit, I almost always stand alone in the inner quadrangle of the stage. And my memories take me back to the numerous occasions when I received awards for the academic excellence. I then spent a few minutes in front of the notice board and walk up to the small room on the second floor of the electrical engineering department that was Kulkarni's room, but no longer dusty. I remember the bench on which I sat and prepared for my exam, and my heart feels a familiar ache when I recall some of my teachers and classmates who are no longer in this world today. And then, as I walk down the stairs, I come across groups of girls chatting away happily and wearing jeans skirts or traditional salwar kameez. There are almost as many girls as there are boys in the college. When they see me, they lovingly surround me for autographs. In the midst of the crowd and the signings, I think of my parents and my journey of 50 years, and my eyes get misty. May God bless you, our BVB.